Sometimes the deepest wounds don't come from strangers. They come from the people you raised. On June 3rd, 2024, while I lay in a hospital bed recovering from a stroke, my 2 children flew to Paris and charged $4,287 to my credit card. While I was learning to walk again, they were sipping champagne under the Eiffel Tower. My name is Lindsay Dalton. I'm 68 years old. And when I found out, I didn't cry. I smiled. Because right then, I decided something. If they could walk away from me that easily, I could walk away from everything they thought they were going to inherit. If you're listening from somewhere far away, drop your city in the comments so I can see how far this has traveled. And please, stay with me until the end. This story isn't just mine. It might be yours, too. It was 2:15 in the morning when I woke up on my bathroom floor, unable to move my left arm. Thank God for Patricia Williams. My 76-year-old neighbor heard the thud through her window and called 911. She rode with me in the ambulance, holding my hand while I couldn't form words, couldn't tell her how terrified I was. They took me to Memorial Hermann Hospital in Houston, the same hospital where I'd worked as a nurse for 40 years. Now I was the patient being wheeled through emergency, blood pressure cuffed tight around my arm, machines beeping frantically. Dr. Ramirez recognized me immediately. I'd worked with him when he was a resident. Lindsay? Good Lord. Get her to imaging. Now. 6 hours of tests later, he came back with relief in his eyes. You're lucky. Ischemic stroke. We caught it early. You'll need therapy, but you should recover fully. Lucky. That's what he called it. They moved me to a private room at 7 a.m. I lay there watching the Houston sunrise, already planning the calls I'd make. My son Terrence first, 42, CPA, lives in Sugar Land with his wife Nicole and my grandkids Maya and Jordan. Then my daughter Keisha, 39, teaches 3rd grade, lives close by. I raised them both alone after their father died. David Dalton lost his battle with colon cancer in 2010. After he passed, I worked 3, sometimes 4 12-hour shifts a week, night shifts, weekends, holidays. Came home with swollen feet and an aching back, collapsed into bed, did it all again. For years. So they could finish graduate school, buy their first homes, give my grandchildren good Christmases. At 8:30 a.m., I called Terrence. Voicemail. Terrence, honey, it's Mom. I'm in the hospital. Memorial Hermann. I had a stroke last night, but I'm okay. Can you call me? I'd really like to see you. I called Keisha. Straight to voicemail. Baby girl, it's Mama. I'm at Memorial Hermann. I had a stroke. I'm all right, but I'm scared and I'd love to see your face. Call me. Love you. By noon, neither had called back. The nurses came and went. One of them was Jasmine, late 20s with kind eyes. She remembered me from a hospital reunion. Your family coming by? She asked while checking my blood pressure. I called them this morning. They're probably just busy. Something flickered across her face. Pity or recognition. But they didn't come. Not that day. Not the next. Not the day after that. I watched other patients' families fill the halls. The man next door had visitors all day. Wife, kids, grandchildren laughing through the wall. The elderly woman across from me got fresh flowers every afternoon from her daughter. Me? I had Patricia. She came every day with magazines and pound cake from church. She never asked about my children. Maybe she could see the answer in my face. On the 3rd night, lying there in the dark, I finally let myself think it. They're not coming. They knew where I was. I'd left messages. The hospital had called them, and they'd chosen not to come. I cried into my pillow that night. 68 years old, crying like a child, grieving not for what I'd lost, but for what I'd never had. And then, in that emptiness, a question formed. If they didn't care enough to visit, what else didn't they care about? Day 4, Dr. Ramirez was pleased with my progress. My speech was clearer, the weakness improving. Jasmine came in at 8:30 looking uncomfortable. Mrs. Dalton, she hesitated. I don't know if I should say anything. My stomach tightened. What is it? She pulled out her phone. I was on Instagram last night and the algorithm showed me. I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't. Show me. She turned the screen toward me. Keisha, my Keisha, standing in front of the Eiffel Tower, arms spread wide, huge smile. Red dress I'd never seen. Caption, Dreams do come true. Hashtag Paris, hashtag family vacation, hashtag living my best life. Posted June 4th, the day after I called her from the hospital. There's more, Jasmine said softly. Terrence at the Louvre. Posted June 5th. Keisha's kids eating crepes. Posted June 4th. A group shot. Terrence, Nicole, Keisha, all 4 grandchildren outside a restaurant. Posted yesterday. Hashtag family time. Hashtag making memories family time. They were all there, together, without me, while I was lying here. Jordan holding ice cream. Maya in a beret. Everyone smiling. They looked complete, like nothing was missing. I thought maybe they'd called and told you about the trip, Jasmine said gently. No, they didn't mention it. After she left, I scrolled through the photos. They'd left June 3rd, the same day I had my stroke. Had they already been planning this? Or gotten the news and decided to go anyway? I didn't know which was worse. The rest of the day passed in a haze. I smiled at Patricia's visit and didn't mention what I'd seen. That night, alone, I let myself feel something I hadn't since David died. Anger. Cold, hard anger that settled into my bones. I thought about every sacrifice, every extra shift when my feet screamed, every Christmas I'd spent my last dollar, every tuition payment, every down payment I'd helped with. I thought about David and how disappointed he'd be. I reached for my journal and began to write. June 6th, 2024, Day 4. Found out Terrence and Keisha are in Paris. Have been since June 3rd, the day I had the stroke. They know I'm here. They chose not to come. They chose Paris instead. I paused. Maybe the question isn't what I did wrong. Maybe it's what they chose, and what I'm going to choose now. In the darkness, I made a decision. When I got out of this hospital, I was going to start asking questions, looking at bank statements, checking things I'd always trusted them to handle. Because if they could lie about where they were, what else had they been lying about? Dr. Ramirez discharged me June 9th. Continue the blood thinners, keep up with PT, follow up in 2 weeks. Any dizziness, numbness, trouble speaking, call 911 immediately. Patricia picked me up at 10 a.m. We didn't speak much during the 20-minute drive back to Houston Heights. We turned onto Ashland Avenue, and my heart sank. My grass was 8 inches high, flower beds overrun with weeds, the porch covered in 2 weeks of yellowed newspapers, the mailbox so stuffed that mail spilled onto the ground. When did you last ask someone to check on the house? Patricia asked quietly. I called Terrence that first day. I assumed he'd come by. Patricia's jaw tightened. Walking up to my own door felt surreal. The hanging petunias were dead and brown. A water-damaged package sat crushed against the door. Inside, the smell hit me. Stale air, spoiled food, mildew. The air conditioning was off. 87 degrees in my own house. No one had come. Not once in 7 days. Patricia brought in armfuls of newspapers and mail, then went to clean the spoiled food from my kitchen. I heard her finding the Tuesday dinner casserole that had been rotting for over a week. I reached for the pile of mail with shaking hands. Bills, property tax, insurance. And then, a thick envelope from Chase Bank. My credit card statement. I should have waited. Should have rested. But my hands were already tearing it open. First page. Routine charges, groceries, gas, pharmacy. The second page made my heart stop. June 3rd, AIR France, $1,245. June 3rd, Hotel Le Bristol Paris, $890. June 4th, Louvre Museum Shop, $425. June 5th, Le Jules Verne Restaurant, $650. June 6th, Louis Vuitton, Champs-Élysées, $312. June 6th, La Doury Paris, $89. June 7th, Palace of Versailles, $176. More restaurants, more shops, boat tours, souvenirs, statement balance, $4,287.62. June 3rd, the day I had my stroke. The day Patricia found me on my bathroom floor. That same day, someone charged $1,245 to my credit card for airline tickets to Paris. Primary card, Terrence Dalton, authorized user, Keisha Dalton Reed. I'd added them during David's illness when I needed help managing bills. I'd never taken them off. While I was fighting for my life, they'd used my card to fund their vacation. Hotels, fancy restaurants, designer handbags. Lindsay? Patricia stood in the doorway. What's wrong? I held up the statement. She read it, her face changing from shock to disbelief to anger. They charged a vacation to your card while you were in the hospital. While I was alone, I finished. Yes. We sat in silence, the paper between us like evidence. I knew they'd gone, I said hollowly. I saw the Instagram posts, but I didn't know they'd used my money. What are you going to do? Patricia asked gently. I looked down at my hands. They'd stopped shaking. Something cold and clear was happening inside me. I don't know yet, but I'm going to figure it out. Patricia stayed all day helping sort mail, throwing away spoiled food, running laundry. She made sure I had groceries before she left. Call me if you need anything. Promise me. I promise. After she left, I stood in my living room. This house had been my haven. Now it felt empty in a way that had nothing to do with furniture. I went upstairs to the bedroom I'd shared with David. I picked up our 20th anniversary photo from the nightstand. David, I whispered. What would you do? But I already knew. David had been kind but firm about boundaries, about respect. He would have been heartbroken, but he would have been clear about consequences. I opened my nightstand drawer and pulled out my old address book. I flipped through until I found it. Daniel Foster, attorney at law, Beverly's friend. He'd helped with David's estate. He was good and honest. Too late to call tonight, but tomorrow morning, first thing, I would. Because if they could take $4,000 for a vacation without asking, what else had they taken? I needed to know. I needed to see everything. And then I needed to decide what came next. That night I barely slept. I lay in bed listening to the house settle, every creak and groan suddenly feeling different. Wake up, it seemed to say. Look around. Pay attention. I'd spent so long trusting, believing, assuming the best. Assuming that love was enough, that blood was enough, that being a good mother meant my children would be good children in return. I'd been wrong. And while that realization hurt more than any stroke ever could, it also did something unexpected. It set me free. The morning after I got home, I woke at 6 a.m. with my mind already racing. My body was still healing, still weak, but my thoughts were sharp and clear in a way they hadn't been in years. I made coffee and sat at my kitchen table with the credit card statement spread in front of me. In the early morning light, the numbers looked even worse. $4,287.62. While I'd been in the hospital, terrified and alone. At 7:30, my phone rang. Patricia. How'd you sleep, honey? Not much, I admitted. Patricia, I need to ask you something. Did you see them, Terrence or Keisha? Did they come by the house at all while I was in the hospital? A long pause. Lindsay, please, I need to know. I saw them, she said quietly. June 2nd, late afternoon. Both cars in your driveway. They were loading suitcases into Terrence's Tesla. Big suitcases like they were going somewhere far. The kids were excited, running around. Nicole was checking her phone, looking at something. They all looked happy. My chest tightened. What time? Around 5, maybe 6. I waved. Terrence waved back but didn't stop to talk. They left in a hurry. 5 or 6 p.m. on June 2nd, just hours before I had my stroke at 2 a.m. on June 3rd. They'd been packing for Paris while I was home alone, about to collapse on my bathroom floor. Thank you for telling me, I managed. Lindsay, what are you going to do? I'm going to call Beverly, and then I'm going to call a lawyer. Beverly Carter answered on the second ring. We'd been friends for 30 years, met at a church potluck back in 1994, and bonded over our love of Agatha Christie novels and our disdain for people who didn't return library books on time. She'd been a social worker for 40 years before retiring. If anyone knew how to navigate difficult family situations, it was Beverly. Lynn, Patricia called me this morning. She told me what happened. I'm coming over. Bev, you don't have to. I'm already in my car. Be there in 20 minutes. She arrived in 15, letting herself in with the spare key I'd given her years ago. 65 years old, 5'2", with silver locks and eyes that missed nothing. She took one look at me sitting at that kitchen table and pulled me into a hug. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. I let myself lean into her for just a moment, then pulled back. I need help, Bev. I need to figure out what's really going on. Show me everything. I showed her the credit card statement, watched her face harden as she read each line. They were in Paris, she said flatly, while you were in Memorial Hermann. Yes. And they used your card. Yes. Beverly set down the statement and looked at me with the same expression she probably used on negligent parents back in her social worker days. Lindsay, you know what this is, right? This isn't just neglect. This is financial exploitation of an elder. It's abuse. The word hit me like a slap. Abuse? Yes, I've seen it 100 times. Adult children with access to their parents' money, taking advantage. Usually it starts small. A tank of gas here, a grocery run there. Then it escalates. She tapped the statement. This is escalation. But I gave them access to my card. During David's illness, when I needed help. That was 14 years ago, Lynn. Did you ever take them off? No, I trusted them. Beverly's expression softened. I know you did. But here's what we're going to do. First, we document everything. Every charge, every date, everything you remember. Second, we check all your other accounts. Third, we call Daniel Foster. I was planning to call him this morning. Good. But Lynn, before you do, are you sure you want to go down this road? Once you start asking questions, once you start looking into things, you can't unsee what you find, and it might be worse than you think. I thought about those Instagram photos, about my grandchildren eating crepes in Paris while I lay in a hospital bed, about 7 days of silence. I'm sure. Beverly pulled out her phone. Then let's get started. Beverly helped me organize everything methodically. We created folders, one for each account, one for property documents, one for insurance. She brought her old case file system from her social worker days. Documentation is everything, she said. If this goes legal, we need a paper trail. We started with my credit cards. I had 2, the Chase card Terrence and Keisha had access to, and a Capital One card that was mine alone. Beverly logged into my accounts while I watched. The Chase card history went back 6 months. We printed it all. January through May looked normal. Occasional charges from Terrence, gas, groceries, a few restaurant meals. Nothing excessive. Keisha used it less, maybe once or twice a month. Then June 3rd. The day everything changed. But as we kept scrolling back through the statements, Beverly's finger stopped on a line from April. Lynn, what's this? April 17th. Frost Bank, $2,000. Cash advance. I leaned closer. I don't know. I didn't take out cash. Who else has access to this card? Just Terrence and Keisha. Beverly highlighted it. We need to ask about this. We found 2 more. March 8th, $1,500 cash advance. February 22nd, $1,200 cash advance. $4,700 in cash advances I hadn't known about. Before the Paris trip. This has been going on for months, Beverly said quietly. My hands were shaking again. Why would they need cash? That's what we need to find out. We moved to my bank accounts. Checking and savings at Wells Fargo, where I'd banked for 30 years. The checking account looked normal. My pension deposits, Social Security, automatic payments for utilities and insurance. But the savings account made my stomach drop. Balance, $3,847. I stared at the number. That can't be right. What should it be? Around 40,000, maybe 42. I've been saving since David died. Every month I put money away. For emergencies. For the grandkids' college fund. Beverly's jaw tightened. Let's look at the transactions. We pulled up 6 months of history. There, a pattern of withdrawals. Always on the 1st of the month. Always $2,000. Always labeled transfer to external account. January 1st, $2,000. February 1st, $2,000. March 1st, $2,000. April 1st, $2,000. May 1st, $2,000. June 1st, $2,000. $12,000, Beverly said. Gone in 6 months. Where's it going? I clicked on one of the transfers, external account ending in 7843. That's not my account number, I whispered. Beverly pulled out her phone. I'm calling Daniel Foster right now. Daniel Foster met us at his office on a Wednesday morning. 52 years old, sharp suit, kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. He'd handled David's estate 14 years ago and had been patient and thorough even when I was too grief-stricken to understand half of what he was explaining. He listened while Beverly and I laid out everything: the hospital stay, the Paris trip, the credit card charges, the cash advances, the mysterious transfers from my savings. When we finished, he sat back and steepled his fingers. "Mrs. Dalton, I need to ask you some questions. Did you authorize these transfers?" "No." "Did you authorize the cash advances?" "No." "Did you give anyone power of attorney?" "No, just the credit card access years ago." "Do you have online banking?" "Yes, but I rarely use it. I usually go to the branch." Daniel made notes. "Have you changed your password recently?" "Not in years. It's the same one I've always used." I paused. "Terrence helped me set it up. He knows it." Daniel's pen stopped moving. He looked up at me. "Mrs. Dalton, I need to check something. Can you give me authorization to pull your credit report and check property records?" "Of course. Why?" "Because if they have your passwords and your credit card information, they might have more access than you realize." It took him 3 days to get the reports. He called me on Saturday morning. "Mrs. Dalton, we need to meet. Today, if possible. Can you come to my office at 2? Something in his voice made my blood run cold. "What did you find?" "I'd rather show you in person. Can you bring Patricia and Beverly?" We sat in his office at 2 p.m., me, Patricia, and Beverly on one side of his desk, Daniel on the other with a thick folder in front of him. "I'm going to be direct," he said. "What I found is serious, potentially criminal." My mouth went dry. "What is it?" He opened the folder and pulled out a document. "This is a copy of a loan application filed with Frost Bank 18 months ago, December 2022. The loan amount was $150,000. "I didn't take out a loan." "I know, but according to this, you did. Your signature is on the application. Your house at 847 Ashland Avenue is listed as collateral." The room tilted. Beverly grabbed my hand. "That's not my signature," I managed. Daniel pulled out another document, my mortgage papers from 1992. "This is your signature from when you and David bought the house. And this," he placed them side by side, "is the signature on the loan application. They're not the same." Patricia leaned forward, squinting at both documents. "They're similar, but the way the L curves, it's different." "Exactly," Daniel said. "This is forgery. Someone forged your signature to take out a loan against your house." "Who?" But I already knew the answer. "The loan was approved to Terrence Andrew Dalton. The bank statements show deposits were made into an account in his name. The loan was for a business venture, TD Financial Consulting LLC. Terrence's business, the one he'd started 2 years ago, the one he'd been so excited about. He'd used my house as collateral, without asking, without telling me." "How much does he owe?" I asked. Daniel's expression darkened. "The loan had a 24-month term. Payments were due monthly. According to the records, he's made exactly 3 payments. The loan is currently in default. The total owed, with penalties and interest, is now $178,000. 178, I couldn't breathe. "The bank sent notices to your address. Did you receive them?" I thought about all the mail that had piled up while I was in the hospital. I don't know. I might have. I might have thrown them away thinking they were junk mail." "They've filed for foreclosure," Daniel said quietly. "If this isn't resolved in 30 days, they can take your house." The room went silent except for the ticking of the clock on Daniel's wall. My house. The house David and I bought. The house where we raised our children. The house I'd nearly died trying to keep. Terrence had bet it all on his business and lost, and never told me. "What do I do?" My voice sounded small, broken. Daniel leaned forward. "First, we file a police report for forgery and identity theft. Second, we contest the foreclosure. If we can prove you didn't sign those documents, the loan is fraudulent. Third, we protect your remaining assets immediately. New bank accounts, new credit cards, everything in your name only." "Will I lose the house?" "Not if I can help it. But Mrs. Dalton, I need to ask, do you want to pursue criminal charges against your son? Because that's where this is heading." I looked at Beverly and Patricia. Patricia's face was set in angry lines. Beverly squeezed my hand. "I need time to think," I said. You have 30 days before the foreclosure is final. I'd recommend acting quickly. We left the office in stunned silence. Patricia drove us back to my house. None of us spoke until we were sitting in my living room. $178,000, I finally said. He stole my house. Not yet, Beverly said firmly. We're going to fight this. But what if I lose? What if the bank— Then you sell, Patricia said bluntly. You sell the house before they can take it. You take whatever equity is left and you start over. This is my home. Home is where you're loved and respected, Beverly said. This house? These are just walls. Your children turned it into something else. They turned it into collateral, into something they could use. I looked around the living room. 32 years of memories. David proposing right there by the fireplace. Terrence taking his first steps on that rug. Keisha's 16th birthday party in this room. But Beverly was right. They'd changed what this place meant. They'd turned my sanctuary into currency. I want to see everything, I said. Every account, every document, every charge. I want to know exactly what they've done. Beverly nodded. That's going to take time, maybe a week to pull it all together. Then we have a week, because when they get back from Paris, when they come here expecting everything to be the same, I want to know exactly what I'm dealing with. What are you going to do? Patricia asked. I thought about those Instagram photos, about the credit card charges, about my forged signature on loan documents, about 7 days alone in a hospital bed. I'm going to protect myself, I said, whatever that takes. Beverly moved into my spare room temporarily. You need someone here, she insisted, and I need to help you organize all this. We spent the next week in what Beverly called war room mode. My dining room table disappeared under stacks of documents, bank statements, credit card bills, loan papers, property records. We printed everything, organized everything, cross-referenced everything. Daniel sent over a forensic accountant, a woman named Sharon Brooks who specialized in elder financial abuse cases. She was 48, efficient, and had zero patience for excuses. Let's see what we're working with, she said, sitting down at my dining room table. We showed her everything. She worked through it all methodically, making notes, creating spreadsheets, asking questions. After 3 hours, she looked up. Mrs. Dalton, the total amount taken from your accounts over the past 18 months is approximately $196,000. The number hit me like a physical blow. That includes, Sharon continued, the $150,000 loan, the $12,000 in unauthorized transfers from your savings, the $4,700 in cash advances, the $4,287 for the Paris trip, and various other charges I found going back to January of last year. Small things, mostly. $200 here, $500 there. It adds up. $196,000, I repeated. Yes, and that's not counting the interest and penalties on the defaulted loan, which brings the total exposure to over $220,000. I'd worked for 40 years. 40 years of 12-hour shifts and aching feet and sacrifice. And in 18 months, my children had taken, or obligated me for, over $200,000. What are my options? I asked. Sharon looked at Daniel, who nodded. Option 1, Sharon said. You file criminal charges, forgery, identity theft, elder financial abuse. You prosecute. If convicted, Terrence could face prison time. You'd likely recover some assets, but it's a long, messy process. Option 2? You sell the house yourself before the bank forecloses. You use the equity to pay off the fraudulent loan and protect yourself from further legal action. You walk away and lose my home. You keep your freedom and your dignity, Daniel said quietly. Mrs. Dalton, if the bank forecloses, you get nothing. If you sell, you walk away with whatever equity is left after paying off the loan. Based on current market value, that's probably around $110,000. Option 3? I asked. Sharon and Daniel exchanged glances. You confront them, Sharon said. You present them with everything we've found. You give them a choice. They pay back what they've stolen, or you prosecute. But Mrs. Dalton, I'll be honest. In my experience, when family gets to this point, confrontation rarely results in repayment. It usually just leads to option 1 or 2. I sat back, overwhelmed. Beverly put her hand on my shoulder. You don't have to decide today. Yes, I do. They get back from Paris in 4 days. And when they do, they're going to come here expecting everything to be normal, expecting me to welcome them with open arms and forget about what they've done. Patricia snorted. Over my dead body. I looked around at these 3 women, Beverly, Patricia, Sharon, who'd dropped everything to help me. Women who barely knew me or had known me for decades, but who'd shown up, who'd cared. And I thought about my children, the ones I'd raised, the ones I'd sacrificed for, the ones who'd left me on a bathroom floor and flown to Paris. I want to sell the house, I said. Beverly squeezed my shoulder. Are you sure? No, but I'm sure I can't stay here. Not anymore. This house, it's tainted now. Every room reminds me of what I thought I had and what I actually have. I can't live with that. Daniel nodded. I'll call a realtor I trust. Monica Shaw. She's fair and fast. She can have this place listed by next week. I want to move before they get back, I said. I want to be gone. I want them to come here and find nothing. Where will you go? Patricia asked. I thought about it. Somewhere new. Somewhere without memories. Somewhere I could breathe. Galveston, I said suddenly. My mother used to take me to Galveston when I was little. We'd walk on the beach and look for shells. I always felt peaceful there. Galveston's only an hour away, Beverly said. Close enough for us to visit. Far enough for a fresh start. Exactly. Over the next 3 days, things moved fast. Monica Shaw came to see the house Monday morning. She walked through every room, making notes, nodding approvingly. Houston Heights is hot right now. This house has good bones, original hardwood floors, big lot. I can list it for $285,000. In this market, we'll have offers within a week. Do it, I said. Tuesday, Daniel filed paperwork contesting the foreclosure and documenting the forgery. This buys us time, he explained. The bank will have to investigate. Could take 30 to 60 days. By then, we'll have already sold and paid them off. Wednesday, Beverly and I drove to Galveston. We looked at 3 rentals before we found it. A small cottage 4 blocks from the beach. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, weathered blue paint, and a front porch with a swing. The landlady was Ruth Anderson, a 70-year-old widow with kind eyes. I lost my husband 2 years ago, she said. I know what it's like to start over. First month is normally $2,000, but for you, I'll do $1,500. Rent to own if you decide you like it here. I'll take it, I said. Thursday, men from Patricia's church helped me pack. Reverend Thompson himself showed up with his son. They loaded boxes, wrapped furniture, dismantled beds. They worked for 6 hours and refused to take a penny. You've served this community for 40 years, Reverend Thompson said. Let us serve you now. By Thursday night, most of my belongings were in storage or in a U-Haul heading to Galveston. I kept only what mattered. David's watch, my mother's quilt, the family Bible, my journals, and enough clothes and furniture to start over. I stood in my empty living room that night and felt lighter, like I'd been carrying a weight I hadn't even known was there, and now it was gone. You ready? Beverly asked. She'd driven her car separately to follow the U-Haul. Almost. One more thing. I pulled out a piece of paper and an envelope. I'd written the letter that afternoon while the movers worked around me. Short, clear, factual. I read it one more time. Terrence and Keisha, while you were in Paris, I discovered the loan you took against my house. $150,000. My forged signature. The credit card charges. The transfers from my savings. All of it. The house is sold. The loan will be paid from the proceeds. The remaining money is in a trust you cannot access. My will has been changed. Every penny goes to charity and the church. You stole $200,000 from me. But more than that, you stole my dignity, my trust. 7 days I lay in a hospital bed waiting for you. You're not welcome in my new home. Don't look for me. Don't call. If you need to contact me, go through Daniel Foster, attorney at law. His number is attached. You were right about one thing. I never worked. I only worked 3 jobs to raise you. I only sacrificed 40 years so you could have everything you wanted. But I'm done now. Consider this your inheritance. The knowledge that you threw away your mother for money you're never going to see. Mama, I sealed it in the envelope and taped it to the sold sign Monica Shaw had already posted in the front yard. Then I locked the door to 847 Ashland Avenue for the last time. I didn't look back. Friday morning, I woke up in Galveston for the first time. The cottage was small, smaller than any room in my Houston house, but it was mine. The walls were painted a soft cream color. Morning light came through the windows, and I could hear seagulls crying in the distance. I made coffee in my new kitchen and carried it out to the front porch. The swing creaked gently as I sat down. 4 blocks away, I could see a slice of the Gulf of Mexico, gray-green and endless. Beverly was already up, sitting in the other chair with her own coffee. "How'd you sleep?" she asked. "Better than I have in weeks." It was true. Despite everything, despite the grief and the anger and the uncertainty, I'd slept through the night. No hospital machines beeping, no empty house echoing around me. Just the sound of the ocean and the knowledge that I'd done what needed to be done. My phone sat on the small table between us. Beverly glanced at it. "They land today, don't they?" "Flight gets in at 4:30 p.m. I checked their Instagram that morning, one last time. Keisha had posted a final photo from their hotel. "Last day in paradise, heading home to reality." Reality. They had no idea. "You think they'll go straight to the house?" Beverly asked. "Probably. Terrence lives in Sugar Land, but my house is closer to the airport. They'll want to drop off souvenirs, show me pictures." I took a sip of coffee. "Maybe ask for money to cover their overweight luggage fees." Beverly made a sound that might have been a laugh or a curse. We sat in comfortable silence for a while. Then my phone buzzed. "Patricia, Monica just called. House has 3 offers already, all above asking. She thinks we can close in 2 weeks. Me. Tell her to take the highest one. I want this done. Patricia. Will do. How are you holding up? Me. Better than I expected. And it was true. I'd expected to feel guilty or scared or even vindictive. Instead, I felt calm, clear, like I'd been walking through fog for years and finally stepped into sunlight. "What do you think they'll do?" Beverly asked. "When they find the letter?" "Terrence will be angry. He'll call Daniel immediately, threaten legal action. He'll think there's a way to fix this, to manipulate his way out of consequences." And Keisha? I thought about my daughter, my baby girl who used to climb into my lap when she had nightmares, who'd cried for a week when her goldfish died. Keisha will cry. She'll call me over and over. She'll text that she's sorry, that she didn't know it had gotten this bad, that she can explain everything. But she can't. "No," I said quietly. "She can't." My phone buzzed again. This time an unknown Houston number. I let it ring. Then it buzzed with a voicemail notification. I didn't listen to it. "That was fast," Beverly said. "They must have gone straight there." I checked the time. 5:45 p.m. They probably landed early, got through customs quick. The phone rang again. Same number. Then a text. "Mom, this is Terrence. Call me immediately." Another text. "Mom, please, what is going on?" Another call. I turned the phone face down on the table. "You're not going to answer?" Beverly asked. "No. Daniel has strict instructions. All communication goes through him. That's what the letter said. They're not going to respect that." "I know, but I will." We sat there as the sun climbed higher and my phone continued to buzz and ring. Terrence called 6 times. Keisha called 4. Text messages piled up. I could see the notifications lighting up the screen even face down. Finally, around 7 p.m., my phone rang with a number I recognized. "Daniel Foster." I answered. "Hello? Mrs. Dalton, I've just had a very intense call with your son." "I imagine so. He's threatening to sue you for the house. He claims you're mentally incompetent, that you had no right to sell without his knowledge, that the loan was legitimate, and you approved it." "What did you tell him?" "That we have handwriting analysis proving forgery, that we have documentation of unauthorized transfers and charges, that he committed multiple felonies, and that if he continues to harass you or make false claims, we'll file criminal charges immediately." "How did he respond?" "He hung up on me. But Mrs. Dalton, I want you to be prepared. This is the point where things might get ugly. He might try to find you. He might show up at Patricia's house looking for information. Patricia knows not to tell him anything." "Good. Your daughter also called. She was less aggressive, more emotional. She kept saying there must be a misunderstanding." "There's no misunderstanding." That's what I told her. I also informed both of them that the house sale will proceed, the loan will be paid from proceeds, and that any remaining equity is in a trust they cannot access. Thank you, Daniel. After I hung up, Beverly said, How do you feel? Sad, I admitted. I thought I'd feel triumphant or vindicated, but mostly I just feel sad. That's because you loved them. Real love doesn't disappear just because people betray you. It just changes shape. We sat on that porch until the stars came out, watching the sky turn from blue to pink to purple to black. And for the first time in 18 months, maybe longer, I felt like I could breathe. Patricia called me Sunday morning. Lindsay, they've been to my house. I sat up straighter on my porch swing. Both of them? Terrence yesterday afternoon. Keisha this morning, about an hour ago. Terrence was aggressive, demanded to know where you were, said I was interfering in family business. I told him I didn't know where you'd gone and that he needed to leave. Did he? Eventually, after I threatened to call the police. Patricia's voice was steel. Keisha was different. She was crying, mascara all down her face. She brought the kids. My heart clenched. Maya and Jordan? Yes. They wanted to see you. Maya was asking why you moved, where you went, if you were mad at them. Lindsay, it broke my heart. What did you tell them? I told Maya that sometimes grown-ups make mistakes and other grown-ups need space. That you love them very much but need time alone. She asked if she could write you letters. I said yes, that I'd make sure you got them. Tears stung my eyes. Thank you. Keisha asked me to give you a message. She said to tell you she didn't know about the loan, that Terrence told her he'd talked to you about it, that you'd approved everything. She said she's sorry about Paris, that it was supposed to be a surprise gift, and Terrence said you'd be fine for a week. Do you believe her? Patricia was quiet for a moment. I believe she believes it. Whether it's true, I don't know. But Lindsay, she's not the one who forged your signature. She's not the one who took out that loan. That was all Terrence. But she benefited from it. She spent my money in Paris. She didn't visit me in the hospital. I know. I'm not saying she's innocent. I'm just saying, maybe there are degrees here. After we hung up, I sat on my porch for a long time, thinking about what Patricia had said. Were there degrees? Was Keisha less guilty because she'd believed Terrence's lies? Or was she equally guilty for not questioning, for not checking, for not caring enough to notice that her mother was being exploited? I didn't have answers. What I did have was a text message that arrived while I was thinking. From Keisha. Mom, please. I know you're getting this. Please just talk to me. I'm so sorry. I didn't know about the loan, I swear. Terrence said you approved it. I should have checked, but I trusted him. I should have visited you in the hospital. I was wrong. Please. The kids miss you. Maya cries every night. Please just let me see you. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Part of me wanted to respond, wanted to believe her, wanted to forgive. But then I remembered lying in that hospital bed, watching other families visit their loved ones while I stared at the ceiling alone. I remembered the credit card statement. $4,000 for a vacation while I learned to walk again. I remembered the Instagram photos, the smiles, the hashtags. #blessed. I put the phone down without responding. 3 weeks passed. The house sold. $290,000, all cash, closed in 12 days. After paying off Terrence's fraudulent loan and Daniel's legal fees, I walked away with $112,000. I put it in a trust Daniel set up, per my instructions. Not a penny would go to my children. The trust would fund nursing scholarships at Texas Southern University in David's name. It would go to the Houston Stroke Association. And if there was anything left when I died, it would go to Patricia and Beverly for their kindness. I started settling into my new life. Morning walks on the beach. Volunteer work at the local free clinic 2 days a week. They were thrilled to have an experienced nurse. Weekly dinners with Patricia, who drove down every Thursday. And then, on a Tuesday afternoon in mid-July, 3 weeks after they'd returned from Paris, my doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. Beverly had gone back to Houston that morning. Ruth was visiting her daughter in Dallas. I looked through the peephole, and my heart stopped. Keisha stood on my porch, and beside her, holding her hand, was Maya. I stood frozen, my hand on the doorknob. Through the peephole, I could see Keisha's face. Older somehow, thinner. She'd lost weight. Her hair wasn't styled the way she usually kept it. She was wearing jeans and a simple t-shirt, not the designer clothes she'd worn in Paris. Maya was in her favorite purple dress. She looked nervous. I could pretend not to be home, could stay silent until they left. But Maya, my grandbaby, she didn't deserve to be caught in the middle of this. I opened the door. Keisha's eyes widened. Mom, how did you find me? I hired a private investigator. I'm sorry. I know you said not to contact you, but Her voice broke. I needed to see you, to explain, I don't know, to try. I looked down at Maya, who was staring up at me with wide, uncertain eyes. Hi, Grandma Lindsay, she said softly. My heart cracked. Hi, baby girl. Can we come in? Keisha asked. Please, just for a few minutes. If you don't want to talk to me, I understand, but Maya has something she wants to give you. I hesitated, then stepped back. 5 minutes. They came inside. Maya looked around my small cottage with curious eyes while Keisha stood awkwardly in the middle of my living room. It's nice, Keisha said. The cottage. I can see the ocean from here. What do you want, Keisha? She flinched at my tone. I want to explain. About Paris. About the hospital. About everything. You have 5 minutes. She sat down on my couch, pulling Maya onto her lap even though Maya was getting too big for that. Maybe she needed the comfort. Or the shield. I didn't know about the loan, she began. I swear to you, Mom, I had no idea Terrence forged your signature. He told me you'd agreed to help him with his business, that you wanted to support him. I believed him because he's my brother and I trusted him. You should have asked me directly. I know, I should have. But Mom, Terrence has always been the one who handled money stuff. Even when we were kids, when Dad was sick, Terrence was the one who helped you with bills and paperwork. I assumed he was still helping. He was stealing. I know that now. And Mom, when I found out, when Daniel Foster called and explained everything, I was sick. Physically sick. I threw up because I realized what I'd been part of. You were part of leaving me in a hospital bed alone for 7 days. Her face crumpled. I know. And that's the part I can't explain away. That's the part that was all me. Terrence planned the Paris trip months ago. Said it was a gift for the family, a surprise vacation he wanted to treat everyone to. He said you knew about it, that you'd encouraged us to go. He said you were fine, that Patricia was checking on you. I wasn't fine. I had a stroke. I know. Mom, when Terrence told us you were in the hospital, it was the morning we were supposed to fly out. June 3rd. We were at the airport. He said you'd had a minor incident, but that you were stable, that there was nothing we could do, that you'd be upset if we canceled our trip after all his planning. He made it sound like you'd be disappointed in us if we didn't go. And you believed him. Yes, and I shouldn't have. I should have gotten on a plane back to Houston immediately. I should have gone to that hospital and held your hand. Instead, Her voice broke completely. Instead, I posted pictures on Instagram. I ate crepes. I smiled for photos while you were lying there alone. And Mom, I will regret that for the rest of my life. Tears were streaming down her face now. Maya was watching her mother cry, her own eyes filling with tears. Mommy, don't cry, Maya whispered. I wanted to stay hard, wanted to keep my walls up. But watching my daughter break down, watching my granddaughter try to comfort her mother, it hurt. The credit card charges, I said. $4,000. That was wrong. I know it was wrong. Terrence said he'd cleared it with you, that you'd told him to put the trip on your card and you'd settle up later. I should have questioned it. Should have checked. But I was caught up in the excitement and I didn't think. Mom, I will pay you back every penny. It'll take me time, but I will. I don't want your money, Keisha. Then what do you want? I looked at her, really looked at her. My daughter, the little girl I'd raised alone after David died. The one who used to help me fold laundry and practice her spelling words at the kitchen table. The one who'd grown up and somehow forgotten that love wasn't supposed to be conditional or convenient. I want to know why it was so easy, I said quietly. Why it was so easy to leave me behind. It wasn't. Yes, it was. You didn't call me on my birthday last year. You canceled Christmas dinner 2 hours before everyone was supposed to arrive. You borrowed $300 last spring and never paid it back. Every time I invited you over, you were busy. Every time I asked to see the kids, you had plans. I became an inconvenience, Keisha. And then when I actually needed you, you were in Paris. She was sobbing now. You're right. You're right about all of it. I got caught up in my life, in my job, in my kids' schedules, and I started seeing visits with you as obligations instead of time with my mother. I don't know when it happened. It was gradual, but you're right. Maya slipped off her mother's lap and came to stand in front of me. She was holding something, a folded piece of paper. Grandma Lindsay, she said in a small voice, I made you something. She handed me the paper. I unfolded it carefully. It was a drawing, crayon on construction paper, a beach with waves, a small blue house, and 2 stick figures holding hands, one tall with gray hair, one short with pigtails. At the top, in careful first-grade handwriting, I love you, Grandma. Come home. Love, Maya. The tears I'd been holding back finally spilled over. Grandma, why are you crying? Maya asked, worried. Did I make you sad? No, baby. I pulled her into a hug, breathing in her little girl smell of strawberry shampoo and sunshine. You made me happy. This is the most beautiful thing anyone has ever given me. I held her for a long moment, feeling her small arms around my neck, feeling my heart break and heal simultaneously. When I let her go, I looked at Keisha. I love you, I said. I will always love you. You're my daughter. But love isn't enough anymore. Love without respect, without consideration, without effort, it's not sustainable. It eats away at you until there's nothing left. I know, she whispered. I need time, Keisha. I need space to figure out who I am outside of being your mother, outside of being the person you call when you need something. I need to learn how to protect myself. Can you understand that? She nodded, wiping her eyes. Can I write to you? Not asking for anything. Just to let you know how we're doing. To share things. Through Patricia, I said. Send letters to Patricia. If I'm ready to read them, I will. And if I'm ready to respond, I will. But on my timeline, not yours. Okay? She stood up, pulling Maya gently. Okay, that's fair. At the door, she turned back. Mom, I'm so sorry for all of it. And I'm going to be better. I'm going to teach my children to be better. Maya and Jordan will grow up knowing that family means showing up. I promise you that. Good, because they deserve that. Every child deserves that. After they left, I stood in my living room holding Maya's drawing. I put it on my refrigerator with a magnet, right where I could see it every day. It wasn't forgiveness. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But it was a door left slightly open, just slightly. 6 months later, January 26, 2025. I'm sitting on my porch in Galveston watching the sunrise over the Gulf of Mexico. I'm 69 years old today. Last year, I spent my birthday alone, waiting for phone calls that never came. This year, Ruth brought me cake at dawn. Patricia is driving down this afternoon. Beverly organized a surprise lunch with the women from my support group. Second Chapter Sisters, we call ourselves. 12 women over 60 who've all had to start over for one reason or another. Terrence hasn't contacted me since Daniel sent him the cease and desist letter. I heard through Patricia that his business failed completely. He and Nicole are selling their house. I don't feel happy about it. I just feel nothing. He made his choices. Keisha writes every week. Letters sent to Patricia's house. Sometimes I read them. Sometimes I don't. Last month, she sent photos of Maya's school play. Maya was a tree. She looked happy. I haven't written back yet. Maybe I will someday. Maybe I won't. I'm still deciding. The money in David's trust fund has already sent 3 nursing students to college. The Stroke Association used some of it to fund a new support group for survivors. David would be proud of that. My health has improved. Blood pressure normal. No more dizzy spells. I walk 3 miles on the beach every morning. I volunteer at the clinic 4 days a week now instead of 2. Last month, I helped deliver a baby, my first delivery since I retired. The mother named her daughter Lindsay. I cried. This morning, there's a letter in my mailbox from Maya. Patricia forwarded it yesterday. I recognized the careful handwriting. I open it on my porch, the sunrise painting everything gold. Dear Grandma Lindsay, I am 8 3/4 now. I got all A's on my report card. Mommy says you were a nurse and helped people. I want to be a nurse too when I grow up. Like you. Do you still live by the beach? I remember you. Can I visit sometime? I promise to be good. I miss you. Love, Maya Rose. P.S. Jordan misses you too, but he's only 6, so he doesn't write letters yet. I fold the letter carefully and put it in my journal, the one I've been keeping since I moved here. I've filled almost 3 of them now. Writing helps me process, helps me heal. I pick up my pen and start writing today's entry. I am 69 years old today. Last year, I nearly died alone on a bathroom floor. This year, I am sitting on a porch I chose, in a town I chose, living a life I chose. I lost a house. I lost 2 children in a way. I lost $200,000 and 32 years of memories. But I found myself. I found peace. I found a community of women who show up. I found mornings where I wake up without anxiety. I found the ability to say no, to set boundaries, to choose myself. People ask me if I'm angry. I'm not. I'm sad sometimes. I miss who I thought my children were, but I don't miss who they actually became. If you're reading this someday, if you're in that hospital bed, or on that bathroom floor, or sitting in that empty house wondering how it got this bad, I want you to know something. You are not too old to start over. You are not too tired to choose yourself. You are not too loving to require respect. I gave 40 years. The rest is mine, and mine is beautiful. I close the journal and look out at the ocean. A neighbor child runs past, waving. I wave back, smiling. Not the bitter smile of revenge, not the sad smile of regret, just the genuine smile of a woman who finally learned that sometimes the greatest act of love is knowing when to let go. The sun climbs higher, the waves keep rolling in, and for the first time in my 69 years, I know exactly who I am. I am Lindsay Dalton. I am enough, and I am free. If this story touched you, please share it, because somewhere, someone needs to hear that it's okay to choose yourself, that it's okay to walk away, that it's never too late to reclaim your life. Drop your city in the comments and let me know where this story reached you. And to everyone who's ever felt invisible, forgotten, or taken for granted, I see you. Your story matters, and you deserve better.